back, relax, and maybe get yourself a snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books.
Hi guys, Steve here, and I'm here today to review another book that I've read recently that I particularly enjoyed. And this one is The Undoing of Arlo Knott, and it's by Heather Child. And this story follows the main character, Arlo, and what he can do. He discovers that he can basically undo any action that he's recently taken, as long as he can remember the events that lead up to it. So it sort of starts quite with a traumatic event that impacts him for almost the rest of his life. That gives him the temptation to try and undo all the way back to before that event. So the main thing about it is that this particular ability, the ability to undo, it's based on the idea where a lot of people think, oh, I wish I could just press Control Z and undo any mistake. It's sort of a bit like that, except like he can literally, like, say for example someone's really annoying him, he could just punch them and then undo it and it would be like it's never happened. So you can see some benefits, and it follows it over the course of his life. So it starts from his childhood, moving up through the teenage years, through university, and then through adulthood, and to eventually getting to the point where he's sort of middle-aged and deciding what to do with the rest of his life, really. And you see many events happen where he tries to take different career paths. He ends up, particularly in his teenage years, being quite an unlikable character. He acts quite obnoxiously almost at times because he thinks he's greater than everybody because of this ability, which you can understand from someone like that. If you know you can undo any mistake, you think you're untouchable. But then events happen later on in life where he realizes no, he's not untouchable, and that sort of changes his outlook on life. So overall, Arlo is an interesting character. He has a lot of depth, and at first you think, through the first half of the book, I was starting to think, he's not that likable, but I think that's the point. And then when you get later on, you realise actually there's a reason why he was acting like that. So, and also the supporting cast of characters. So you have his sister, who's called Erin, and she has a condition where she's slowly losing her eyesight over the course of the story, and their relationship's quite fraught because she's very academically minded, very smart, goes on to be very successful, and then Arlo's just making do with what he can do with his ability, really. He's just finding careers where he can really exploit that ability to begin with. So he goes out to be a magician, because then he can be like, oh, tell me a secret. Someone tells him it, and then he just winds back to before they told him. So it's little things like that. And there's other career paths that eventually lead him to these points of deciding where he isn't untouchable. So overall, again, the supporting cast of characters is quite strong as well. There are other characters who come into the story throughout, and then there's other interactions over the course of the book as well, involving his ability and how it came to be, and people trying to discover why it happens, what impact it happens, if it can be controlled, if somebody else could have it, and things like that. So overall, it's a very interesting book. So I think I rated it 4 stars in the end because it was a good book. It was a good read. It was very interesting. And even though it could have been a very sort of, someone trying to save the world through undoing things like big events, it wasn't really like that. It was someone who thought they were better than everybody else, letting it get to their head a little bit, and then realizing it's not as simple as it seems. So overall, it's a pretty great read. If you're interested in something that's got a little bit of a slightly different take, I wouldn't say it was time travel, but it is a little bit, because you're going back in time, but also without impacting anybody else. So yeah, I'd say it's a really interesting read and well worth picking up. So if you've read this book, let me know in the comments, and also if you plan to read it, what your thoughts are on the story as a whole. And also, if you have any other books that are similar, maybe worth recommending those in the comments as well, because I'm sure it's something that everybody's thought at least once, that they could just wish they undo stuff that they made a mistake with, because pretty sure everybody's thought about it. So yeah, let me know and see you in the next video. Bye guys.
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.